Hello everyone, this is Vincent Herring. Nice to be here for the jazz lesson videos. Today I want to talk to you about 5 different ways you can improve your straight ahead playing. These are methods that I use in my own day-to-day playing. All of the material we use today can be found in my new resource called Straight Ahead Phrases. In it, you will find 100 phrases over several chord progressions, covering categories like cells and patterns, to diminish and pentatonic as well. The resource is written in all 12 keys for you, and it comes with a recording of me demonstrating all of the material for you. If you would like to download this resource, you can find a link in the description below and use code STRAIGHT5 for $5 off. Okay, so let's get into the first concept today, using harmonic minor. We're using harmonic minor for minor 2-5-1 sounds, or 5 going to 1 minor. And let me give you an example. So major, minor, minor is going to be based on the harmonic minor. And this first line that we're analyzing here is built on a harmonic minor. It's playing that minor 2-5-1, leading you back into the formula. So 5 going to 1, whether it be minor or major, is always something that I tend to do. So in this particular case, this line that I play, the minor 2-5 is right there. So it goes 2-5-1, and then the phrase starts, and it's a minor 2-5 line leading you back to the D minor for the alto or F concert. And generally, in this period of music, over those minor chords, is harmonic minor. Harmonic minor is going to be what it is. So in the major, for instance, the minor, the phrase is built around that particular sound, and then this is a chromatic bridge to get to the 5 chord. Is to get to the 5 chord. But other than that, except the first note is just leading to it. That's a half step, which technically would be outside of the thing, but it's not. It's just leading to it. And once you get into it, it's all harmonic minor based, leading you back into the chord cell structure. The second concept we're using is fragmented pentatonics. And so when I first put together this line, I remember I was working on trying to create pentatonic sounds over 2-5-1 chord progression. Some things work. Just because they work technically doesn't mean it's a good musical choice. So I have a lot of things that I work on that I consider failures, in the sense that there's something I would not play, but they were important to go through for learning other stuff, and just for learning how to edit your thing. So this originally started as an exercise of it's just like minor chords across the chords. I didn't like the way it sounded because it wasn't something musically that I would use. And so in messing around with it and trying different things, I came up with that's over the first. And if we were doing that around the cycle, going around a cycle like that. So it's kind of pentatonic based, but it's also fragmented pentatonic. The third concept is using tritones, which a lot of great players use tritones all the time. I try to use them all the time just because it's just something I hear. And so my thinking here was probably, my chords for me is D minor 7, G7, C major, and I probably said D minor 7, G sharp minor, C sharp 7, C major. In other words, I just made that tritone a 2-5. And sometimes when we think about chords as 2-5 or 5, is very different, you know, like how you might approach it a little bit. So it's just creating a 2-5 pattern on the tritone. So here's that's a 2-5-1. All right. So now. So it's just a 2-5 in the tritone. So I have, in this case for me, D minor. And then I'm playing a G sharp minor to C sharp, going to the C major. The next tip is based on voice leading, really. So this reminds me of an exercise that this is my first lesson with Phil Woods, and he was like, I was like thinking he was going to show me some hot licks and I'd be learning all this great stuff, and we did. And I was like, that's kind of boring, man. He's like, hey, here's the stuff. And so it's so funny that it's still part of my playing today. It's just voice leading. And that was pretty much an exercise we did, thirds to 7. So there you see me starting off on a 7 of the 2, and then it goes, a little phrase leads me to the 3rd, and then I walk a phrase to get me to the 5th of the next chord. And then the same thing, even though it's the same thing, E half diminished, A, and it's like, it's just little phrases, voice leading phrases. So important ones to me, you know. Those things are just good voice leading. If you're ever working with a singer and you need to play behind that singer, you know, again, there's no set thing except for just be musical, whatever you're doing in whatever setting. So there I'm outlining chords. Like if we were playing a tune like Confirmation, It's just voice leading, so you can hear and you can feel those chords passing by, even though I'm playing a minimum amount of notes. And so that's what that line is just a reflection upon that voice leading. The last concept I'll share with you is scrambled eggs. And what I mean by that is manipulation of the 5 going to the 1. Five tends to be a place where you can really take some harmonic liberties, and then I like to resolve it strongly to the 1. Although I did have a sit-down lesson once with Bunky Green, and he was like, well, consider double resolution. I'm like, what the hell is double resolution? And he tended not to resolve those things, but to try to find a more interesting way to continue. And so he had what he called a double resolution. And it was just an interesting thought exercise. But of course, we make decisions based on what we like musically. And so, that I tend to resolve things, although sometimes in some more colorful places, but it's very interesting concept. So when I say scrambled eggs, I mean like manipulation of the 5. And this particular line that we had, so it's a 2/5 line. So that's also just manipulating those 5s going back to wherever they're going. So that was the 6 going back to the minor, and I played and I was taking diminish and was mixing the triad combinations up. So there was an A7 going back to the D minor for me. So on this 2/5, I said, so there, the manipulation of the diminished scale. So the diminished scale is going to have 4 triads in it. There's going to be 4 triads. And so then I took and just manipulated those triads. And instead of 1 in tritone, which would be, which I will use, but I'll also use the other combinations in there. And those combinations give you some nice sounds, kind of scrambled eggs. All right, everyone, that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helps you. Again, if you'd like to download my latest resources, Straight Ahead Phrases, you can find the link in the description below and use code STRAIGHT5 for $5 off. I'll see you next time. Thank you.